Am I making too much noise?
Yes.
I'm afraid that's as quiet as I can make it.
Is the book I recommended to you as dull as all that?
No, the book is fascinating.
Well, then I suggest you read it more carefully.
I intend to as soon as I find my place.
Well, why don't you use the handsome leather bookmark I gave you on your birthday? The one with Our Lady of Wisdom on it.
You borrowed it back, remember?
Oh.
Father, Mrs. Enrico Cipollero and her son James are here. They say it's an emergency.
Oh? Well, ask them to step right in. An emergency?
I'll be in my room, Father.
No. Stay. I'm sure you've seen Mrs. Cipollero at Mass.
Yes?
And if it's an emergency, you might be able to help.
All right.
Thank you, Father, for seeing us.
We don't see enough of you outside the church. And, young man, we don't see enough of you inside the church.
Oh, well, I had infectious mononucleosis.
But that was 2 months ago.
Mama, we didn't come here to discuss me.
Well, now, what's all this about an emergency?
Well, hold on to your hat, Father. My sister's going to get married.
That happens.
Oh, that's wonderful news. Just wonderful. And how old is little Mary now? 34, 35?
33 and 2/3, Father.
That's a fine age, Mrs. Cipollero. Who is the man?
His name is Carl Wyszynski.
Carl was... Do you know him, Father?
No, I don't. But what is the emergency?
The emergency, Father. My sister Mary, a college graduate. She wants to marry a no-good creep of a construction worker.
I gather you disapprove.
Now, look, Father, my sister is no Bridget Bardot, that's true. But this is ridiculous.
She's a college graduate.
But she's still no Bridget Bardot, Mama. Look, Father, I tried to get married dates. I even got Frank Torriello, a very successful lawyer, to take her to a party.
It just didn't work out, Jimmy.
But Mary could have made it work out. None of these people, Father, important people, none of them were good enough for Mary. No, she had to go and flip over this character. And, Father, I'll tell you something else. I don't think he even goes to Mass.
Well, I'll speak to him about that, you can be sure.
Well, why did you come to us?
Well, because
Father, usually I let Jimmy run the business and make the decisions, but this time I say we must have some help. My Mary, maybe she'd not have another chance. If it's right, I want him to be married.
Fine. Now, tell Mary and... what's his name?
Carl Wyszynski.
Tell Mary and her intended to come to the rectory at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Father O'Malley will have tea with them.
Father O'Malley and not you, Father?
Oh, Father O'Malley's a grand one at that sort of thing. He was on the marriage board at the Chancery office, you know.
Oh, thank you, Father.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Let's go, Jimmy.
Yeah. Thank you, Father.
I'll get it.
Thank you very much.
Surely.
It doesn't count what he says, Father. He's her brother. Everyone say my Mary has beautiful eyes.
Father, not that I'm complaining, but why did you put the job on me?
Good experience for you, my boy. You got to get out and see what's going on. You know, You haven't yet got the everyday practical knowledge of what's going on in the world that I have.
Yes, Father.
Father, who is Bridget Bardot?
Good afternoon, Father. If you want to use your study, you can't.
Why?
Father O'Malley is having a tea party for Mary Cipolaro and her intended.
Oh, yes. How's it going? Fine, I hope.
Father, if I'm to stay within my household budget, all this lavish entertaining has to stop.
Oh, have faith, Mrs. Featherson. Remember, our dear Lord made 5 loaves of bread serve 5,000 men.
I'm aware of that, Father. And I'm also aware that he had the good sense not to try it with cookies.
It isn't that Carl didn't want an education. Economic adversity forced him to work full-time at a very early age.
Well, how old were you, Carl? How old was I when, Father? Well, when you quit school. Oh, 15, around that, I guess. But you got beautiful hands, Father?
Carl, please.
What, did I say something wrong?
Not by me. Anything wrong in paying a girl a compliment?
I just thought he shouldn't change the subject while you were interviewing him.
I'm not interviewing him. We're just getting to know each other. Right?
Sure, Father. Go ahead, ask me anything you want.
All right. I hear you work in construction. What kind of construction?
Commercial. No, I'm a rigger. Mostly I work on top of them big office buildings.
You like it, huh?
Well, it keeps me off the streets.
I'm glad to see you have a sense of humor. It'll get you over a lot of the rough spots in marriage.
Do you expect our marriage to have rough spots?
Well, Mary, all marriages have rough spots. It's not all moonlight and kisses, you know.
Mary's blushing, Father.
Look, Mary, Carl, we got to face this. You both have different educations, different backgrounds. It'll take a real effort to understand each other's needs and each other's point of view. What do you talk about after the honeymoon's over? What are your mutual interests? Are you really suited to spend the rest of your lives together?
Sounds like you're trying to discourage us, Father.
No, the decision's up to you and Carl, but there are difficulties to overcome. I just want you to give it real serious thought before you go ahead.
Well, how are the bride and bridegroom? I couldn't let Mary Cipolaro go away without meeting her husband.
Future husband. Father Fitzgibbon, Carl Wazinski.
Hi, Father.
He has a grip on him like a Dublin blacksmith.
Oh, sorry, Father.
Not at all. You're a fine-looking man. Well, I'm sure you'll both be very happy.
I'm sure we will too, Father.
Well, that's that. And when are you setting the day?
Well, we still have to win my brother Jimmy over.
I think he's a swell guy, but I just say hello to him, and all of a sudden he's sore at me.
Oh, no, just you leave all that in Father O'Malley's good hands. He has a grand way with people.
Well, will you come to dinner, Father? It would be so much easier to talk to Jimmy that way, with Mama there.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, Father O'Malley will be delighted. And you'll see, before the evening's over, he'll have everything all straightened out. Won't you, Father?
Oh, yes. Yes, Father.
Wonderful. We'll have Jimmy's wife over, too. Well, goodbye, and thank you for everything.
Sure. Father Fitzgibbon, Father O'Malley, I know I'm a stranger to you, and you don't know much about me. But I just want you to know that I love Mary with all my heart and soul. And I'm going to knock myself out trying to be a good husband to her.
And I'm sure Mary will knock herself out trying to be a good wife to you.
Well, Goodbye, Father.
Goodbye, Carl.
Father.
Ah, that's a fine figure of a man, that. Reminds me a bit of what I was like myself at his age.
Well, I just hope it works out. I really do.
Well, why shouldn't it?
Well,
You're not against people getting married now, are you?
no, Father. Well, I like Mary. I like Carl, too, but as a couple, they don't seem to have much in common.
Do you know what'll fix that?
What?
4 or 5 nice babies.
Pass the bread, dear. No, sir. You're supposed to pass it to the guest of honor first.
But, honey, you told me to pass it to you.
No, I didn't. All I told you was pass the bread.
I'm sorry, dear.
No, thanks.
Oh, you have to, Father. That bread founded our family business.
Cipolero's Italian loaf, served in the finest restaurants in New York and invented by my beloved Enrico, God rest his soul, 40 years ago.
Oh, well, in that case,
Maybe it's only bread to you, Father, but to us it's bread and butter.
I've heard it before. Jimmy says it all the time.
Well, Father, let's get down to cases. You met the character. What did you think about Mary's choice?
I liked him.
You see? Didn't I tell you?
Excuse me, Father. Didn't you find him a little stupid?
No.
Have some veal, Father.
Yes, thanks, I will.
Hey, Father, let's sum this guy up. He's got no education. He's crude. He doesn't know how to talk or eat or think correctly.
Look, Jim, we all have faults. We need faults. They remind us we're human. In a way, we need faults like a dog needs fleas. If he didn't have fleas, he might forget he's a dog.
Oh, yeah, well, that's all great, that up in the clouds stuff. But let's be objective, Father. Do you honestly believe that a girl with Mary's education could be happy married to a bum?
Let's be objective, he says.
You don't like the pasta, Father?
Yes, it's wonderful, but I'm full. Jim, let's forget about Carl's IQ and his clothes, and he can support a wife. He loves Mary. Mary loves him. A good marriage has to be built. If they want a good marriage, now it's up to them to build it and make it work.
But, Father, this guy...
Jimmy, stop fighting. It's the 10th round already, and you're way behind.
Now, are you satisfied? Why don't you stop butting in, Mr. Big Shot?
Now, you watch out how you talk to me, Mary.
Why should I? You don't watch out how you talk to me about the man I love.
Jimmy, Mary, you forget. The priest is our guest.
Sorry, Father.
I'm sorry, Father.
That's okay. I come from a large family myself. My father used to always say if we went praying, we were fighting.
Just one spoonful, Father, huh?
All right, just one spoonful. I never could say no to a fine pasta.
Mama has an announcement. I wanted Father's opinion. The case is closed. Carl is the man Mary chooses. And everyone in the family, and I mean everyone, is going to welcome him with open arms.
Mama!
Sit down, my baby. I haven't finished. The first thing we're going to do is take him off the high buildings where he can fall down and get killed and give him a job in the bakery.
In the bakery? Well, what can he do in the bakery?
Well, he can learn to do a lot of things. Oh, thank you, Mama. I think the idea is marvelous.
Well, I think the idea stinks.
Jimmy, I don't want to hear any more what you think. Maybe you're the manager, but I'm the president and the legal owner. It's settled. Carl will come and work in the bakery. I'll bring in the dessert. Father, you go on eating.
Excuse me.
Well, she really lays down the law, doesn't she?
She's just an amateur. You should have heard my pop. Look, Father, I want to see my sister get married. I just truly and honestly don't think this guy is good enough for her. I don't think she's going to be able to respect him. And, well, respect is what a marriage has to be based on, right? Mutual respect. Are you just going to sit there and let the others do all the work?
Yeah, who's there? Oh, it's you.
I'm sorry to wake you, Father. I was just checking in.
I wasn't asleep, just meditating. How did it go at the Zapileros?
Well, I wish the conversation were as tender as the veal.
Yes, quite a change from the married board at the Chancery office.
Quite a change. Sometimes down there, marriage seemed to be just a lot of reports and figures.
That's the difference. Here in the parish, reports and figures don't get married, just people.
That's right.
You gave your blessing to the marriage, I hope?
Yes, I did. I told him I was all for it.
Fine, Father, fine. You're learning.
Well, I've got a good teacher. I just hope that Mary really loves Carl, that she's not just grabbing at the last straw.
Grabbing the last straw saved many a poor man from drowning. Remember that.
Yes, and I also remember that it was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Good night, Father.
Good night. Good night.
The meeting at the center went pretty good, wouldn't you say?
Big turnout, but I think pretty good would describe it.
Well, especially considering the number of different factions represented.
Yeah.
Guess that's why they call it a community center. If you want to enlarge it, you have to consult the entire community.
There's my man.
Oh, Father O'Malley. Hey, Father. Is something wrong with Mary?
No. Your baptism certificate arrived this morning. I knew you were anxious about it, so I thought I'd drop by.
Oh, that's swell.
Tom Caldwell. Carl was instant.
Oh,
Hi.
Tom is head of our local community center.
oh, the place where they keep kids from being juvenile delinquents.
Where they draw.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, real good. You know, giving kids a break. Congratulations.
Well, thanks.
Carl's due for congratulations, too. He's going to get married.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Hey, Father, you and your friend like to go up and take a look-see from the top?
Sure. How about you, Tom?
Well, why not? This is one way of getting closer to heaven.
Hey, you know what, Father? Mary and me are going to the opera.
What are you going to hear?
Singing. Yeah, last week she went to the fights with me, so this week I'm going to the opera with her. Oh, it's like you said, Father. You know, we're trying to understand each other's point of view. Well, here we are.
Have you and Mary set the date?
No, it depends on when is the best time for her to take 2 weeks off for a honeymoon. You get a great view from up here, huh?
Yeah.
2 weeks off from what?
Mary's the chief bookkeeper in her family's bakery business.
You know, this is only 20 stories. 10 more go up on top.
Are you going to take a shot at the bakery business yourself, Carl?
I don't know, Father. Mary and her mother asked me to, but now look at that crazy guy crossing against the light. Guy could get killed doing that. Father, I don't want to be a charity case.
You mean you're afraid you won't earn your salary?
Something like that, I guess, yeah. Well, you guys had enough?
Some of us guys have had enough.
I'll get the elevator.
Chuck, I'm a little shaky.
So am I, but it's against the rules to admit it.
Mr. Caldwell, what would you do if you were I?
Well, I don't know all the scoop, Carl, but why don't you try it? Temporarily. Just a week or two. If you like it, find you useful, stay. If you don't, you're not, leave.
I don't know. I think I'm too dumb to be a businessman.
You're not. I know a lot of businessmen dumber than you.
Maybe. But they're not working alongside of a girl like Mary.
You've got something going for you, Carl. Sounds to me like this Mary of yours really loves you.
Well, she loves me now, but... You know, I've been thinking over what you said, Father. I gotta be able to talk on Mary's level. She needs, well, you know, interesting conversation with a guy who really knows what he's talking about. Not some cluck. Will you help me, Father?
Help you how?
Wise me up. Tell me what books to read. Teach me things. You know, stuff that'll make me a better guy.
I think you're a pretty good guy already.
So do I. Not good enough for Mary. At least not yet. Father, how about if I come over one night a week and maybe you can teach me stuff, huh?
Well, Carl, I got a pretty full schedule. Okay, I guess I can spare one night a week.
Oh, fine. I'll see you tomorrow night, huh?
Okay, Carl.
Thanks for the buggy ride. Yeah. Anytime you want to go up again, just holler.
Real loud.
So long.
So long, Carl. Now, what do you think of him, Tom?
Well, a little rough around the edges, but a real all right guy.
Yeah, he's quite a fella.
Chuck, don't improve him too much.
Well, Father, the way I see it, it's like this. Helen Kelly, she couldn't...
Keller. Helen Keller.
Oh, excuse me. Keller. Helen Keller. She couldn't see, she couldn't talk, she couldn't hear, but she was still a person. Because something inside her, like in her brain or someplace, well, she wanted to understand things.
I think you're right.
You know something else, Father?
What?
If she could do all the great stuff she did, I mean, the way the deck was stacked against it all, you know? Well, then, people who can talk and hear and see, huh, well, they should be able to do practically anything.
Yes, they should. Tell me, Carl, did you find any similarity between the story of Helen Keller and some of the other stories I've had you read, like, David Copperfield, Robinson Crusoe?
Yeah, I think so. They're all about guys, people, who had hardships to overcome.
That's right.
That's why you wanted I should read them, so I wouldn't be discouraged, right?
Discouraged about what?
About how far I have to go.
You're doing fine, Carl, believe me.
Thanks. Well, what's next?
That's up to you.
Oh, how about something in your field? Religion. You know, the saints. You got any books on that?
Well, I think I can scrape up a few. I have, well, let's see, this, and this, and that. That'll hold you for a while.
I'll finish them tomorrow.
Take your time, it's not a race.
Good night, Father.
Good night, Carl.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Father, I'm not real good at saying things, but you're the best man I ever met in my life.
I see the student prince was here again.
He's a glutton for punishment.
Spending more time with you than he is with his future wife. By the time they get to the altar, he'll have forgotten what the poor girl looks like.
Well, not really. He's working at the bakery now, and he sees Mary during the day.
Oh, he's working at the bakery.
On a trial basis to see if he likes it.
And how does he like it?
Well, he hasn't said. He's been too busy talking about his reading.
I hope you're not trying to raise the boy up too many levels.
Father, you said there's nothing like the personal touch.
I know. I smell trouble.
Trouble? Well, what kind of trouble?
It's this little game of Pygmalion that you're playing with Carl, with the man. Be careful, Father.
Careful in what way?
When I was a boy in Wexford, they used to tell a story of an old woman in the village who in the evening at harvest time could stand on the top of a hill and from a little stirring at the end of her nose could tell whether the next day would be good or bad.
Oh?
I feel a slight stirring, Father. A slight stirring.
Good morning, bookworm.
Hiya, honey. Gee, you look beautiful.
I don't, but keep telling me.
You do, and I will.
Is that another one of Father O'Malley's books?
Yeah.
What's that one about?
About the lives of the saints.
Hey, Wazinski! Don't just stand there. Help load up. I got people hollering for that bread.
Okay. Jimmy, huh? I'll see you later, honey.
Jimmy, why did you yell at him?
Because the sooner he starts delivering, the fresher the customers are going to get the bread.
Bread isn't going to get stale in 5 minutes. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you yelled at him because you have the neurotic compulsion to be the boss.
I got news for you, little sister. I am the boss.
And you're afraid of competition. That's why you gave Carl the most menial job you could think of. Driving the delivery truck.
Oh, boy, do you happen to be wrong. I put Carl Wazinski on that truck because I thought it was the only job he had an outside chance of being able to handle.
If you would study your motives, you would know that that is not true.
Okay, Miss Einstein, you tell me. What job should he have?
Well, he should be your assistant.
My assistant?
Why, yes. You could let him observe until he was oriented. Then give him some small responsibilities. Then give him some bigger responsibilities.
Hold
until
on,
finally-
Mary. If I made Carl Wazinski my assistant, all the other employees would quit. They would walk right out the door.
Why would they walk right out the door?
They would walk right out the door because, in addition to all my men having seniority over Carl Wazinski, they all have higher IQs than Carl Wazinski.
Jimmy, if Papa had chosen his number 2 man on the basis of IQ, you'd still be in the back room up to your elbows in wet dough.
I'm losing my patience with you, Mary.
You're losing your patience because you are neurotic.
Me? I'm neurotic? Oh, brother!
Are you all right?
I'm all right.
Gee, I'm sorry. It was my fault.
Okay. I'm sorry, too. Only thing is, I don't get a chance to belch, you know. Yeah, watch, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Excuse me here. It's my truck. My company owns the truck.
You're all right. You didn't get hurt.
Oh, la-dee-da.
Are there any
I hope your company owns plenty of insurance also.
Carl, what happened?
Well, I pulled out without looking. My mind was on my book, I guess.
Oh, yeah? Well, why wasn't your mind on your work?
Look, Jimmy, I promised to pay whatever...
Are you satisfied now, huh? Driving a truck is too menial for him. I should make him my assistant, huh?
Jimmy, what do you want me to say?
I want you to say you're wrong. You're wrong about bringing a clown like this into my family.
family.
Look, honey, why don't you go upstairs, huh? Do yourself a favor, will you, Mary?
Dump him. Somebody better will ask you to marry him. Honest, you're not that homely. You're not that homely.
What are you talking about?
Beautiful shot.
Come on, right, leave me alone.
Why did you do that?
He insulted you.
But he's my brother.
Well, that doesn't give him the right to...
Oh, Carl, now he'll never like you. Oh, Carl, you're hopeless.
I'm hopeless.
What am I going to say? What excuse can I make for you this time?
You mean you've made excuses before?
I've done nothing but since the minute I met you, and I'm getting sick and tired of it.
I apologize. You have to be ashamed of me more.
Good evening, Mrs. Featherston. Is Father O'Malley home?
He's having his supper.
Well, may I please come in and wait for him? It's terribly important.
There, come on in.
Shall I wait here?
No. When I tell him you're here, he'll only leave his supper, so you might as well come right into the dining room. Father.
Why, what a pleasant surprise. How are you, Mary?
Oh, not very well, I'm afraid, Father.
Oh, have you got in touch with this flu that's going around?
I think it's something else, Father. Have a seat, Mary.
How do you take your coffee?
Mrs. Featherston, don't put yourself out for me.
Oh, nonsense. It's plain to see you need perking up. I think I'll give it to you black.
Father O'Malley, have you seen Carl?
No, Mary. The last I saw Carl was 4 nights ago.
Well, why do you ask?
Because I haven't seen him either. We had a quarrel.
I see.
I lost my temper and I said something I shouldn't, and he ran away. I tried to call him, and I even went to his room twice, but he isn't there.
Whatever it is, it's not the end of the world.
Now, Mary. Come now. Take it easy. You all right?
I'm sorry, Father. I'm a Phi Beta Kappa. I'm supposed to be too intelligent to cry. Father, what if Carl doesn't come back? What will happen to me if we don't get married? I'll have to go back to not liking myself again.
No, Mary. There are lots of other fish in the sea.
For other girls, maybe, but not for me. The fact is, no matter how interesting a conversationalist I am, or how I dress or wear my hair, I'm basically unappealing to men.
Whoever told you you were unappealing?
Indirectly, every man I ever dated. Except Carl Wazinski. For some reason or other, Carl found me attractive. He cherished me. Really, he did.
You mean so much so that you started to like yourself?
Yes. Oh, Father, I love Carl. I need him. I can't lose him now.
I get it.
Never mind, Mrs. Featherston. Father Fitzgibbon's answering the door. I think he felt he needed the exercise.
Look who's here. The prodigal son. He came to return your books, Father.
Hi, Father.
Hi, Carl.
Hello, Carl.
Well, Mary?
Are you mad at me?
Nope. I was, but I'm not anymore. I have something very important to say to everybody.
Perhaps we better go in the study.
Oh, you go ahead. I'll come along when I finish my coffee.
Yes, Father.
They've gone into the study. Carl, what's his name, has an important announcement to make.
Mary, I'm glad you're here, too.
Because this concerns you. And you'll have to take my word, I'm not doing it in anger.
You're not doing what in anger?
Father O'Malley,
Yes, Carl?
those books you loaned me were great. They made me see it's never too late to answer the call.
Answer what call?
Well, Father, thanks to your guidance and inspiration,
Yeah?
I decided I'm going to be a priest.
Carl, you're too old to become a priest, and you're not... Well, Carl, there's not a seminary in the country that'll accept you.
Well, then, I'll become a Trappist monk. Like St. Benedict said. I'll become a stranger to the ways of the world.
Carl, you better leave. I'll phone you. Go on.
What?
There's this...
What happened?
Father O'Malley just ruined my life.
Carl wants to become a monk.
A glass of water, quickly. Quick.
Well, what do we do, Father?
Oh, why are you asking me, my boy? This is your case. What do you intend to do?
No, I'm not sure yet.
Trappist monk? The man hasn't the intellectual capacity. The basic understanding.
No, Father. I give Carl credit for a lot more sense than a lot of people. But what's more important, I think his real happiness lies with Mary, just as hers lies with him. Morning, Fathers. How are you both?
Oh, fine, Tom, thank you. Just fine. What can I do for you?
I'd just like to show Father O'Malley these drawings of the new community center annex.
Oh, well, look, Tom, could you leave with me overnight? Right now, I'm sort of involved in something else.
Oh, sure. Sorry I interrupted.
It's all right. Thanks.
Oh, how's Carl Wazinski?
He's fine. I'll phone you tomorrow,
Is Carl, is he a friend of yours?
Well, I only met him once, Father, but I liked him. He was so refreshingly uncomplicated.
In that case, you'll be interested in hearing that under the guidance and inspiration of Father O'Malley, Carl, who is it, has decided to become a priest.
He did. You're kidding.
huh? He'll settle for being a Trappist brother.
Do you mean to say that...
Tom, I thought you were leaving.
Oh, I am. What did you do to him?
Goodbye, Tom.
Goodbye, Father.
Goodbye, Tom. Goodbye.
Mr. James Ciperlaro is asking to see you.
Tell him I'll be right in.
Can one of you talk to me?
It's Father O'Malley's case. You go ahead.
Thank you, Father.
Well, please, I won't interfere.
I just came from seeing Mary.
She's still upset?
She hasn't slept. She won't eat. My mother says she hasn't stopped crying for 5 minutes.
How about the screaming?
What's screaming?
Never mind, it isn't important. Go on.
I suppose Mary still blames me for Carl's decision to become a monk, a brother.
No, Father, if she's got anybody to blame, she should blame me.
You?
That's right, Father. Every time his name came up, I knocked him. And when he came to work in a bakery, I gave him a real bad time. I did it because I didn't want my sister to marry him.
Because you thought she was too good for him,
That's what I told myself, but it's not true. I just didn't want another man in the family. Not that I didn't want Carl, I just didn't want any man.
You didn't want to share the spotlight.
Yeah, I suppose. See, it took me long enough to get it away from my father. That's kind of stupid, isn't it?
No, it's not stupid. It's just human.
See, Father, I didn't realize what I was doing. Not until today, and when I saw Mary, how she was taking it. I mean, she's my baby sister. I take a solemn oath to God. I never really meant to make her unhappy. I'm afraid she might do something desperate.
No, we can't let that happen, can we, Father?
No, we can't, Father. Look, Jimmy, you're not as responsible for the problem as you think. And again, perhaps there may not even be a problem.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean that this afternoon I'm going over and talk this out with Carl. And I think that when he realizes what he's doing and why he's doing it, that he may change his mind.
Oh, that's great.
That's what I came to ask you to do, only I was afraid.
Why?
Well, I thought maybe you wanted him to become a monk. I mean, I thought maybe there was a shortage, and the church was desperate. Did I hear him correctly?
Look, Jimmy, don't you want to see your baby sister? I mean, why don't you quit while you're ahead?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, goodbye, Father. And thanks for everything. Complicated case, my boy.
Yeah, it's like trying to watch two tennis matches at the same time.
Are you learning anything from the experience?
Just what you wanted me to learn, Father. Working with people in a parish is a lot different than filling out reports at the Chancery office.
Good.
Yeah, there's a lot of cold ink in a fountain pen and a lot of warm blood in people.
Fine, Father. And you'll help me, too. I'll use that line in my sermon next Sunday.
Hello, Carl.
Hiya, Father. Come on in. I was just going to call you.
You were?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you where I should go to join up.
Hey, Carl, when did the idea of joining up first hit you?
When I read the book, The Lives of the Saints.
All the saints in general, or one saint in particular?
One in particular. St. Ignatius.
Ignatius.
What?
St. Ignatius.
Oh, I thought it was Ignatius.
Ignatius.
Well, anyway, he was a roughneck, too. Still, he reformed and founded the Jesuits. Then later he became a saint. Boy. What a guy, huh?
Yeah, St. Ignatius was a pretty exceptional man.
Okay, Father, so I'm not exceptional. They'll find something for me to do around the monastery. Scrub the floors, fix the windows.
Carl, I know how you feel. You knocked yourself out trying to do good for Mary and her family. You got hurt. Now you want to go someplace and hide, right? Carl, having a vocation is the greatest thing in the world, but joining a religious order isn't like joining a foreign legion.
Oh, what does it matter where I want to join? Isn't what counts how I do my job in the order? After I take the vows and put on a cassock? I want to wear a cassock, Father. Like you do.
Carl, you know what a cassock is?
Well, sure, it's that long robe they'll give me to wear when I'm officially a brother. What about it?
You know what it's made out of?
Some special kind of cloth?
Wrong. Some ordinary kind of cloth. A cassock won't keep you warm in a snowstorm. Won't stop a bullet if somebody shoots at you. And even though it looks nice and roomy, you can't hide behind it any longer or more successfully than a child can hide behind its mother's skirts.
How come you're trying to talk me out of it, Father? Aren't you supposed to talk people into serving the church?
Who says you have to be a priest or a monk or a nun to serve your church?
Well, nobody.
You
but
can serve your church by just leading a good life and being a good man. And you can serve the church by raising a family, Carl. That's a great vocation. Bringing new souls into the world. New souls. Capable of love and happiness. That is a great vocation right there. And Carl, that's your vocation.
Sorry, Father, my mind's made up.
Look, Carl.
Is Father O'Malley here?
Yeah. How'd you know?
He phoned and asked me to meet him.
Hey, you're really putting on the old squeeze play, huh, Father?
Ah, you mean I'm testing you? Yes. Yes, I am.
You should have had a brother come, too. I could have blasted him again. You could have said I was wrong for the religious life because I was too violent.
I didn't know you blasted him the first time.
No, well, I did. What, am I thrown off the team now?
No. No, if blasting people were grounds for getting thrown off the team, I'm afraid a lot of us wouldn't have made it. And that includes St. Ignatius.
What are you doing?
Okay, Carl. I'll test you. You stand there. Stand there and look at Mary and think where your heart is. What you really want. Now, just 10 seconds. That's all. Well, Carl?
It'll be no good hiding behind it, Cassie. I guess I was just kidding myself.
Oh, Carl, I love you so.
I love you too, Mary. Mary, don't ask me to go back to that bakery.
I won't. But I can't promise the same for Jimmy.
What do you mean?
Well, he wants you to be his assistant. He said your personality is much more pleasing than his, and you could bring in a lot of new business.
How about that?
You'll see now. Things will be different. You watch.
Father, would you be insulted if I said I thought you were pretty sneaky?
Nope.
Come on, let's go tell Mama, huh? She's been very upset. Thank you, Father. You've been a wonderful help. Oh, I hope you don't mind losing Carl. I mean to the religious life.
Well, let's look at it this way, Mary. We're losing a brother, but you're gaining a husband.
My mother invited you both to the reception, didn't she?
Oh, she did indeed.
Good. I wouldn't want you to miss it. It's costing over $2,000. Well, come on.
Well, aren't you going to tell them?
Oh, yeah. We're expecting another baby.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, congratulations.
That'll make 6.
Oh, 7. Hey, Joe, you coming to the reception?
You happy?
Oh, very. At least for 9 months, my husband will have to treat me gently.
Oh, nice going, Father. That was the nicest wedding I've ever been invited to.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Thank you, my boy. Thank you.
Well, you made quite a comeback, didn't you?
Did you ever doubt me?
Not really. Although that day in the garden...
When you were giving me the needle and I
Father
was...
O'Malley, I'd like to present my niece, Miss Janice Morelli, who flew in all the way from Dubuque, Iowa.
How do you do, Janice? Miss Morelli, this is Mr. Caldwell, Tom Caldwell. He's a friend of Carl's.
Oh. Are you married, Mr. Caldwell?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's fine. Then you and Janice can sit together at the reception.
Oh, well,
He'd be delighted. Delighted.
thanks.
You're welcome. And she's so refreshingly uncomplicated. And Tom, don't improve her too much.